I began what I would later come to call self-disrupting. I analyzed all the pieces that came together to form my identity. I began to define what unique experiences and knowledge I had that would set me apart from my peers. I thought about the way I made decisions, how I processed and responded to information, how I approached problems. I thought about the way I presented myself to the world and how I communicated my abilities to potential business partners and clients. And I thought about how I was spending my time and energy. If I was going to find opportunities to make a name for myself in the world, I was going to have to change something in my approach. Then I started thinking about my business in those same terms. Where was the value in my lottery machine? How could I put it to use in a different way? By the time I landed in LA the next morning, a subtle shift had taken place. When I arrived at LAX looking for the cheapest way to get home from the airport, I stopped by the information booth to ask about shuttle times and services. Just my luck. No one was manning the booth, and there was no place in the terminal to find shuttle or bus information. I realized, perhaps as a result of my previous hours of self-questioning, that this problem presented an opportunity. I started to think through my situation from every possible angle. How many of Los Angeles International Airport's 50 million annual visitors shared this problem? How many hours a day were the booths manned, and at what cost? How many languages do visitors speak? Instinctively, I was deconstructing the size and scope of the opportunity while reassembling the strengths only I could bring to solving it. Who else had a prototype for a state-of-the-art interactive kiosk in their garage? 24 hours earlier, I had thought my big idea was interactive lottery kiosks. And now I knew I had been wrong. With one pivot, I realized what my next business venture would be: automated airport information booths. I adapted the PAT 2500 into an airport information system that provided taxi, bus, and shuttle data in 8 languages and even added an auto-dial phone. This was years before people had mobile phones, to connect the traveler with the dispatcher. By just touching the screen, visitors would be welcomed to Los Angeles by a friendly woman who spoke their language and could provide them with accurate information on how to cost-effectively get to more than 500 local destinations. Within a couple of years, my fledgling work-for-hire company had become LAX's sole information service provider, putting in place the systems billions of travelers still rely on today. Just think about the last time you were at an airport. Did you interact with a kiosk to print boarding passes, check luggage, or change your seat? The kiosk that disrupted the human ticketing agent was once a failed lottery machine. I was 24 years old, and from the ashes of failure, I had risen to launch myself on a path of serial entrepreneurship, a path I've now been on for more than 30 years, and one that's never let me down. That early success was not an accident. It was the logical outcome of the introspective process I first implemented that night after finding out I had lost the lottery contract. I had always been creative, and I knew I wanted to make a splash in the business and entertainment worlds. I had lots of ideas, but I could never pull the pieces together to make my dreams happen. Like most people, I didn't know how to channel my ideas and energies into positive actions. Frustrated by my lack of progress, I re-examined my assumptions about myself and my personal skills. I came to refer to the intense and introspective process of questioning my beliefs and goals, which has, time and again, led to my biggest business breakthroughs, as self-disruption. Through self-disruption, I've come to see that I can accomplish what I once thought impossible. I've discovered that if I am able to express any problem as a series of challenges, I can build a team capable of rising to those challenges. I've realized that businesses, whether they make dog food or software, don't sell products, they sell solutions. Over the course of my career, my method of self-disruption has led me to work quickly and easily across entirely divergent industries: automotive, telecommunications, packaged goods, and quick-service restaurants, changing the very nature of those businesses. I went from running a 20-person startup to being a global officer of an international company with over 160,000 employees. I've collaborated with Fortune 500 companies, foreign governments, and even the Vatican. In 1 year alone, I took stakes in more than